Hey, this is Mr. Ariel. I'm here today with a video about types of matter. Make sure you've got some paper and something to write with, and let's get started. Now, the first thing for the notes today is matter, and that's defined as anything that has mass and takes up space. I mean, it has volume. Now, if you're wondering what isn't matter, a good answer is energy, and we'll probably learn about a couple of forms of energy in this class later on. Now, there are two broad categories of matter, and those are substances and mixtures. Now, we're going to look first at substances, but be sure to save some room over here on your paper where we'll come back and fill in some about mixtures. Substances are defined as matter with a fixed composition whose identity cannot be changed by ordinary physical processes. Now, about this fixed composition, let me just give you an example of that. Water, you probably know the formula for that is two hydrogens attached to a single oxygen. In other words, it's a ratio of two hydrogens for every one oxygen. And nothing you can do to it physically will change that ratio. So this is stuff like freezing or boiling, or for other physical substances, things like cutting or filtering. None of that would change that fixed composition. I mean, the ratio of atoms just wouldn't change. Now, I'm going to move on a bit, but I want you to put this next part of the notes right underneath where you have substance written. I just need a little more room on the board. Now, there are two types of substances, and those are just elements and compounds. Elements are defined as a single type of atom, and some examples are hydrogen, oxygen, and approximately 116 others that are on the periodic table. The other type of substance is a compound, and those are defined as substances produced when elements combine. Some common examples would be H2O and sodium chloride, NaCl. Again, make sure you've got these ideas in your notes because I need to go on and get back to mixtures. So now we're coming back to the right side of my diagram, and mixtures are defined as a combination of substances that are not chemically combined. In other words, they can be separated by physical means. Get some of these examples of physical means into your notes. For a mixture of salt water, you can just boil or evaporate to separate the salt. Dirty water, well, that can be filtered. Or something like iron filings mixed into sand, you can use a magnet to remove those iron filings. There are a lot more examples of physical processes that can separate mixtures, but these are the only ones I'm going to mention today. Now, moving on, there are two kinds of mixtures, and they're called homogeneous and heterogeneous. Put these in your notes right around where you wrote the definition of mixtures. Now, a homogeneous mixture is one where the components are very evenly blended together. I mean, it's very difficult to tell which part of the mixture is which. Some examples include salt water, sweet tea, now that's without ice put into it, air, and brass. You might think brass is an element, but it's not on the periodic table. Instead, brass is a mixture of copper and zinc, and both of those are elements. Looking at a piece of brass, you can't see a difference between the copper and the zinc atoms, and that's what makes it a homogeneous mixture. Now, heterogeneous mixtures, on the other hand, can be much easier to distinguish the parts of the mixture. Some examples would include things like chocolate chip cookies, vegetable soup, or a bag of M&Ms or Skittles. Now get these ideas into your notes, and then you're all done with this lesson. I hope this video has been helpful to you today, and as always, thanks for watching.